So you want to know how to build your theoretical Harmony MC here today, don't you? Because surely this would never come to the game, but if it did, this is how I would be building my imaginary Harmony MC, and I'll be sharing that build with you today, guys. Going over from how I would build their relics and how I would build their light cones. Obviously, we don't know anything of what skills might even be if this character were even released into the game, so we can't talk about any of the theoretical skills today, but hopefully the build will be good enough to show that, and I'll try to explain with the build why I think it could be good for this theoretical MC that we could be getting into the game in the near future. 2.2. So gamers, it's time to put on your hats, turn on Super Mario World Odyssey, and let's get talking about this new character. I hope you got the meme there. So let's go ahead and talk about those sussy little light cones first so I can scam you out of watch time because you really want to know what relics you need. But do stay for this part too because light cones are actually really important for this character if they were coming to the game. So my number one pick for light cones here is going to be Memories of the Past. Why? Because it gives break effect, and what else does it give? It gives energy when hitting the enemy as well, right? And if I were to think, if Hoyoverse were ever to release a Harmony MC, right, what would they take? They would probably take aspects from every Harmony character we currently have, the best being Ruan Mei. They'd probably take some aspects of her kit. They would probably take some aspects of other kit like Asta or something like that, you know? Because Asta's kit's really nice, it's really good for break efficiency, right? So why wouldn't they just throw these two things inside of a kit together? So that's why I think that Memories of the Past is going to be absolutely amazing because first of all, it would be enhancing their break effect, which could potentially scale and give the team extra damage because we all know the direction the game's going is going towards like break comps and stuff like that and just different types of comps, so why wouldn't they have this into the game, right? And also another reason why I recommend this because maybe, just maybe, if they did a skill attack, it might work like Asta, right? Where, you know, Asta does an attack with her skill and basic attack, so that means you'd be getting the extra energy every time you even hit an attack upon the enemy, because that's all they can do is hit an attack on the enemy, surely, right? Another good option here would also be Mesh and Cogs. If you don't have this light cone, Mesh and Cogs could also work here too because it would still be giving you energy, and I'm assuming that you're going to be wanting to get as much energy as possible for this character because normally how characters like this work, right? So say they have an attack with both their skill and their basic attack, everything relies on the ultimate move, right? Their ultimate move would probably last for a couple turns if I had to guess, so if it's lasting for a couple turns, then it's probably going to have a higher energy cost to actually reach that because it's lasting for multiple turns, so obviously it has to have a higher energy cost to supplement that because you can't just have someone with 100 energy cost and go in and be like, well, we gave you this buff for 3 turns and you can already activate it before your next cycle comes around, before it's even up. Uptime all the time. I don't think it's going to work like that, so that's why I recommend these two light cones. Obviously, Dance 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 could work here too. Dance 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 really works on just about any Harmony character, really other than Robin. Robin, this would not help out at all in the slightest. We're going to have a video coming out on Robin on every negative with her, or I don't think, she doesn't really have any negatives. I just think that people are going to play her wrong and people are going to think she's negative. Anyways, guys, that's really all the light cones that I recommend here. I think that Memories of the Past, Mesh, and Cogs are going to be the best in slots here, so go ahead and get those leveled up now because I think if Harmony Trailblazer were to come to the game, these would be the light cones that they would want to absolutely use. Now let's go ahead and talk about the moment you've been waiting for, and also to scam those viewers that clicked on this timestamp to get to the relic section. Subscribe to the channel if you clicked on the timestamp or watched to this point in the video because I'm bringing you copium content, and I have a cool shirt on that's really tight because I ordered a large and they sent me a small and I weigh 200 and something pounds, so yikes. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about those best in slot relics now. Now, hopping into these relics now and touching on the point that we actually made with the light cones earlier in the video. Break effect. We want something that brings break effect. So, I think Watchmaker's Legacy is going to be the absolute best set for them. I guess also you could run Thief of Shooting Meteor, but that's a stinky set to farm. I would rather just farm the debuff set and get this set as well and just run that on them. I think this is going to be giving you a great time because what does this set do? First of all, it gives you the same amount of break effect that a 2-piece that the other set would give you, and on top of this, when using the ultimate of this character, you would also be getting an extra 30% break effect to the whole team, including themselves, which could help out, say they scale off a break effect, or any other character in the team that scale off a break effect, because if this character is a break effect character, then you might just want to run as much break effect as humanly possible. Give the team break effect because they might amplify what the rest of the breaking of the team is going to do. So these are the sets that I recommend. Either Watchmaker's Legacy or Thief of Shooting Meteor. I much rather would go towards the Watchmaker's Legacy than I would Thief of Shooting Meteor though. But if that's the only thing you have, then obviously build that. Now this will also transcend over to the planner set as well. What do I think the best planner set is? Honestly, I think Pentaconias, right? Now, the reason I would say you could run banditry, but I want as much energy regen as possible. The reason I want as much energy regen as possible here is because if, say, their ability, right, works just like Asta's ability, where they do multiple hits with their skill, then that's extra energy per hit you're doing with that. On top of that, you're having to hit the enemy every single time as well. So if you're running Meshing Cogs or Memories of the Past, you're getting extra energy regen from those as well. You can sacrifice some of the break effect, because if they're scaling off a break effect, it might scale off of their break effect values, and you know, maybe having, you know, 20% different break effect, so maybe not having the break effect from this set here might not help you out as much, because realistically how I'm gonna have them built, they wouldn't even take use of the full banditry set in general. They would only get the first part of it. They wouldn't get the speed part, because I'm gonna run mine slow. I'm just gonna say it, we're running absolutely slow, the slowest absolutely possible, and I'll explain why in a second. I recommend either the Pentaconi, so you get that extra imaginary damage bonus, or you can either run Von Quack as well to get them going first in rotation. But all in all, at the end of the day, you're still getting that 5% extra energy regen. And now, we just mentioned it. Let's talk about stats now. What stats are you going to be wanting to use for this theoretical character that we could be getting in the game? Now, let's go ahead and start off with the stats now. On the boots, I want to run attack, HP, or defense. Whatever you need more of. If they're not surviving, obviously run a defensive stat. If they are surviving, run attack percent here. The reason I don't want to run speed here is because I want them to be slow as possible. Why would I want them to be as slow as possible, though? Because of the fact that maybe their ult lasts for a certain amount of turns, right? A certain amount of their own turns, right? So let's say Ruan Mei's skill, right? If their ultimate works like Ruan Mei's skill, is every time that she comes back in rotation, then it procs off and it loses the turn, right? So we want them to be as slow as possible, so you get as much leverage out of that kit that you possibly can, or you get as much leverage out of that ult that you possibly can. And let's say they have another way to regen energy, say the rest of the team breaks an enemy shield or something, and they get energy, right? Because you know how Robin works, right? Robin works by attacking an enemy, and then they get extra energy, right? So what if this Trailblazer, this Harmony Trailblazer, works off of breaking enemy shield, going across the whole break effect narrative that I'm on right now, right? I would see it working something like that, right? Because it's not as good as attacking enemy, right? Because attacking enemy is very easy. You have to break the enemy, which is a much harder task to do. So that means if you were to get energy back for it, you could battery your ult up more. It would also make more sense that we're running the extra energy regen, so you're getting extra energy to get that ult back up. So that means you could possibly have a 100% uptime if you're breaking enemy shields consistently. If there's more enemies on the field, you could obviously break more. Maybe for Pure Fiction this works well with. I would assume they would make a pretty well-rounded character that works for Pure Fiction, Apocalyptic Shadow, and Memory of Chaos. So I would hopefully it works like that. That works the way I'm thinking, right? So by running the attack slash HP slash defense boot here, you can get extra stats that you might want. Maybe you want them to deal more damage. Maybe you want them to be more tanky. You know how it goes, right? Put them in the middle of the team, let them take some hits. I don't know, man. You do what you want to do, but run them slow. That's what I do recommend. Now hopping into that body piece, again, same thing. Attack percentage, HP, defense, orb, attack percentage, HP, defense, and finally rope, energy regen. You want energy regen rope here. I don't really recommend break effect up here. I want to give them as much energy regen as absolutely possible. And here you could technically swap into the bandage replanner set, get some extra break effect if you're really lacking in break effect. We'll talk about recommended stats in a second here, but this is what I recommend as far as all the main stats you're going to be wanting here. You want them to be as tanky as possible so they're able to survive. Maybe this allows you to put them in the middle of the team so they can tank some hits, get some extra energy, put the ult out more often, right? Now let's go ahead and talk about substats. Number one, substat break effect. Focus on break effect all the way down. As many break effect rolls, as many break effect stats as possible. Honestly, you could quite literally forego any other stat here as long as you're focusing on break effect here. You really don't need attack. They don't have to deal damage. You have the other people on your team to deal damage. Focus on break effect, get as much break effect as possible in your substats. Obviously other stats you can focus on because those aren't the only stats that you're gonna have. HP, defense, effect res maybe. That's really all that you need, right? Really focus on break effect though. I do want to make that known. So outside of that, obviously HP, defense, attack percentage. Focus on break effect though. That's the number one thing. Now on screen, I'm gonna be showing the recommended stats you're gonna be wanting for these characters. So on the speed, you're going to want as low speed as absolutely possible. For your break, you're going to want at least 150% break effect. This is like bare minimum. You absolutely want more of this if you can get more of it. And then finally, HP, around 3,700 is what I would recommend to make them tanky enough to survive any battle. Now, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about teams that they could possibly be ran on, right? We've been going with the whole narrative of break effect, right? So, what characters work well with break effect, right? Let's go ahead and talk about it. Boot Hill, we already know. Boot Hill's going to be playing exceptionally well with break effect damage, right? But not only Boot Hill, we also have a character like Zhui. Zhui, if this is the case, is going to be getting an absolutely massive buff as well. Zhui might even go up in the rankings on the tier list because of this. I'm not gonna lie, guys. The effect that I'm thinking that Trailblazer, if they come to the game, could possibly have, this would skyrocket, alright? Also, Ruan Mei. You could run them on a team with Ruan Mei. Why? Weakness break efficiency, get their shield broken quicker. So if you get the enemy broken, you're doing more damage on that break and then potentially more damage to the enemy because I can't go that far, okay? But you guys get the point, right? Run Ruan Mei in the team. You could honestly potentially not even run a sustain with this character on the team just because of what I think they could do, right? Imagine if they, for some reason, increase the amount of time they would be weakness broken by whatever ally weakness breaks the enemy, right? And then having Ruan Mei increase that as well, that would be crazy. You really wouldn't need a sustain if you're able to break. And with this, seems really good to me. Luca, oh my gosh. I cannot wait to see what Bo Buka's about to do to these enemies. Imagine Luca hitting a skill attack on an enemy that is already broken. That bleed damage, holy moly. You're about to have bleed damage from both the break itself and then reproc with the skill, so you have double. I'm just saying, guys, that seems crazy. Anyways, and then Shushang as well. Shushang is a break master. Use her damage is going to go up as well. Anyone that relies on break is going to shoot up. Dr. Ratio would honestly work really well with this, right? He likes breaking enemy shield. He breaks it very effectively, right? Now, obviously, you're not building much into break effect with him, but this could also be a good viable strat as well. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for my theoretical little guide today on a Harmony imaginary Trailblazer that could be coming to the game, but we don't know that yet, do we? So guys, go ahead and get this stuff together, because if they come out, this is what you're absolutely gonna want. This is the best guide there is. There's gonna be no one better, and I stand to that. Guoba certified, don't come at me. Anyways, bye guys, see you later. And by the way, I like running speed on Robin, even though that Guoba and other people don't recommend it. We'll make a video on that tomorrow. Anyways guys, bye. Or in 2 days, I don't know.